and good afternoon. It's Shirley here with Spirit of Matter in the tiny circle. This. Um, this is a Saturn day and Saturn hour, and the ascendant just ingressed into Capricorn, which is Saturn's sign. Moon is in Capricorn, trining Mercury, and applying the trine Jupiter. Mars is the most angular planet here. I think that's how you say angular, because this is, unless you go with the sun, which is in 0 degree Libra, but Mars is on the midheaven, with 17 degrees um, Libra, and the midheaven in 16 degrees Libra. So Venus that's ruling that is in 18 degrees Leo, with the sun again in 0 degree Libra. So the sun is ingressed into Libra, and Mars is opposing Chiron, which trines Venus, both on the 18th degree. And 18th degree is, a bit of a difficult degree, but this video, is basically about the 8th house, where this Venus is, and the sun in Venus sign. And the 8th house as the place of birthing. Okay, so when you look at the 8th house of a natal chart, well, you basically see the chart is the situation for the person's birth, but the 8th house is more like what they came to life with, in the sense of what was the when they went out of the birthing canal, what was happening, what was the experience, what was the birthing person experiencing then. And so birthing, as a theme of the 8th house, connects to the methods and the types of whether healing or shamanic journeying that people have when they either return to the moment of birth and birthing. Okay, that's the correct way to say it. The birthing process itself, okay, birth itself, I did not give birth. I experienced a lot of things related to that, but I did not give birth myself. Is a shamanic journey where you let go. And what I know from both women who gave birth in a more integrated way, okay, which is not just conventional, but adding in whether a doula, is that there is this part, there's the orgasmic part, but there's also the agreeing to die part, okay, where I had to agree to die in order to birth life. And so it's a very regenerative birth and life house, okay? Even when you separate signs from houses, I'm talking 8th house. I'm not saying a particular sign. You can have it in any sign. So it touches on death and birth, or death and rebirth, which is also an incarnation cycle. What happens there at the gate, okay, of birthing, of going out of the birthing canal. And when we have anything that touches that, like somebody's Pluto, um, when we have anything that touches that, we are tending to the process of that birthing process. And that means that this person, the house person, or at least the house person. But this is something interesting I was thinking today. When a person gives birth, okay, we can now say a person because people with wombs are not just women. When a person gives birth, the person beside them, okay, it's true that it's not happening in their physical body, but it is an illusion to say they're not going through this too, or they're not in the process or going through birthing. Of course, there's always the person that gives birth and the person that um, is beside the person when it happens, or um, is going through this birthing too. And when we talk about something that touches us on the eighth house, whether it's a transit, okay, like Mars going through the sun ingressing into the eighth for me today, but um, whether it's a transit, so these themes of the eighth house are going to be evident, they're going to be present. The touch on also birth, birthing life, fertility, um, and the whole process. It's going to be evident. And not only that, if that's a connection with another person, they are going to bring that into being. So this is a connection is quite memorable because it's about birthing life of some sorts. Um, so when we talk about eight house or eight house relations or eight house wisdom, we understand that the key to deal with those, okay, rather than depth or depth, okay, the key to deal with those is life and birthing life. What are the needs to birthing life? What are the necessities? What are the junctures in our life when we are birthing something? What needs to be and what needs to change? Everything that we do, everything that we do, if essentially we do to facilitate life flowing within us. And birthing is just a part of that. Um, Birthing connects us with life that's flowing within us. And that's life. Okay, so it's the entire cycle. This is the journey of life. There's cycles of life. Um, and so the people that come along this journey are basically a birthing doulas of each other. Okay, so eight house relationships, we want to tackle that is birthing doulas of each other. Whether that's a project that you're making, whether that's an actual baby that you're having, you're going to touch on fertility. Five house is going to touch on fertility more on the aspect of joy and connection. Eight house is the birthing canal. It's the genuine birthing canal. It's genuinely birthing the incarnation into this world. So if 12th house is the void, um, the eighth house is what happens at birth and what you go through this process. And so our birth, okay, to come into this world is affecting our birth process, coming to this world is affecting our lives. Um, Entire lives even. Okay. And so there are a lot of people who do some sort of shamanic journey or healing through that or attempt at that, something depending on, if it fits the person. But essentially, um, tending to that which touches the eight is tending to the birthing process. And this is what you came here to bring. And the life you came here to bring, the part that is a cycle of life that's flowing within you. And that is facilitated by both or all of those who are involved with the birthing process. Okay, we want to talk energy here. If we also understand the level of energy, there's a lot of layers that we get. It's true, that's not the physical birthing, but we don't want to ignore that because that facilitates the physical birthing. So when you run into these people, all of those things, if somebody asks you, okay, let's say you're, regardless of your age, regardless of your gender, regardless of your relationship status, obviously asks you, and let's say you're not a person who's 100% sure that child free, okay, uh, when are you going to give birth? When are you going to have children? Or were you thinking about children? And they might be innocent doing that. Uh, One, there is this activism of, get out of the womb and so on and so forth, is true and relevant. But the other thing is, it steers up. It's not like asking how you doing or how was your day. It stirred up the most intimate, dredged up feelings and blockages that are to be dissolved. And um, and just, it's only pushing through this, and everything will happen in life to facilitate that birth. Okay? You came here, everything possibly that could possibly go both right and wrong went both right and wrong, so that you would be here in this life. Whether your parents kept both pills and condoms and both were not working, or babies that were born this way, whether you had this story of, was the parent trying to have children, um, whether you were a baby that was born out of an affair or whatnot. All of these things were happening right and wrong so that you can be here. And so when you talk about your eighth house, you talk about both how you came here and how it shaped you. But most importantly, you're not dredging these things up for no reason. You're dredging these things up because there's something you came here to birth, whether it's a baby, a child, or children, or whatever you came here to bring birth to. Okay, that's why it's being dredged up. Okay, also, this when people become parents, for some of them, it's kind of like they're gonna fight if they need to fight. They're gonna live. They're gonna live more. For many people, they're gonna live more. Um, and everything is happening. Everything that needs to go wrong so that it will happen goes wrong. Everything that needs to go right so that it will happen goes right. Okay, it's the juncture of birthing life. Okay, going from that which is not living to that which is living. The fear of death, the fear of complications of life, the traumas, the fear of the everything that goes wrong in life, okay, is also fixed in that house. Not only, but in that house. Um, because this is life. And so when people talk about, oh, these eighth house relationships, they bring so much, they're so traumatic, they're so this, they're so that. Now you got to look at what's in there. What's there? What is there? Right now, Mars is in Libra. Okay. What's Mars doing in Libra? Okay, Libra is ruled by Venus. Mars is ruling the phallus, it's ruling the blood flow. Okay, what's Mars doing in Venus sign? Okay, it came there, it came to Venus to basically form a connection. How is Mars forming connection? It acts on something. And so anything that goes wrong with, let's say, penis going into vagina can be stirred up so that you go back to the point of birthing, and remember that this whole challenging thingy is to birth life. And everything that has to go, like if that's not the person that you came here to birth life with, things will go wrong. If that is the person, things will go right. But also, um, if you need to assert your boundaries, okay, if you need to speak your desires, okay, this is where stuff will come up from the ancestries that either brings you together or severs ties. Okay, so but it severs not only ties, it also severs ties with um basically the intent is to sever ties with your traumas. Is to basically, and it's beyond putting the past in the past. What happens after a birthing cycle? You have a baby. Okay, you're recovering. What you have is a baby sleeping next to you. So so that's the meaning of all of this. Now let's say that's the, an outer planet. So an outer planet already means that there's something that needs to change in the world for that birthing process. So, like, these children are meant to come to a different world, or they came here to do something, but it's just something more that we came to facilitate for their birth. Then the outer planet comes. Like, let's say, talk about Pluto. Pluto in my 8th house. Needs to um, absolve itself of the fabric of depth, depth, and generational wealth, intergenerational wealth. Like changing the power relation, whether it's between men and women, between people who feel disempowered or not included in society. It's like, hey, some people don't even get to question if they can birth. And that also composting the juristic system. Okay, so that's just one planet. It could be Uranus. Okay, Uranus. Say Uranus is divorce, is space. Okay, you don't have to share the same space with the person, or you talk about divorce, the laws of divorce, and how many children die because of the injustices in the court system. Okay, social injustices and so on and so forth. But this is already a social change that needs to happen. Okay, Neptune. You say Neptune is ruling addictions, ruling this, is ruling that. Well, when do people become addicted? When they don't have a sense of connection, we're not validated, we're not acknowledged. Okay, I've been in Netherlands, in between two houses. I saw people for the first time in my life. People were smoking hard drugs next to me, smoking or inhaling hard drugs next to me. And they all said it is the stress, to get away of the stress. So I'm the generation of Neptune and Saturn, so drugs and stress. But these were younger people. They had Neptune elsewhere. So all these people, and they were disciplined people, they were hardworking people, and they were addicted to drugs at the same time. Okay, so something must change about the entire society for these people to be able to birth life, which some of them probably want to. And so on. It's not just they have to make the right decision per se, it's that the society has to change. If people take drugs because of stress, the stress level need to change. Okay, stress and ailment. Okay, Neptune, Saturn is also that, and so that is. And if you have Aries in your 8th house, you have Chiron there now, or you have Aries, then this is already an even bigger cycle. So whatever happens there in the 8th house, where you're going to draw in those connections that can be like well, they will remind you of everything. Just like if somebody, it's kind of like that neighbor asks you, well, where are you gonna have babies together? Can you know that you are not completely child free, and but on steroids? And it's not that somebody's necessarily gonna ask you that. It's just that everything in life resembles so that by tending to that, you're tending to that everything and things become clear. Or if you have arguments with this, now Mars in my 8th house, but if you have arguments with this person that stirs up your 8th house, it's 8th house related, um, you might be having arguments around children or around how to birth and how to grow, but also understanding how birthing life relates to your arguments. For example, as you just talked about inclusivity, it's like some people don't even get to question if they would want children. It's like it seems impossible, even physically, emotionally, psychologically. It's like there's no way on earth I could be a good parent because it seems like all the odds are stacked against me. And regardless of me, this is about the child that you're thinking. Like you don't even get to question, do I want children? Because you haven't been included in the structure in a way that facilitates the resources to even stand on fertile soil, birth food, and ask yourself, okay, or discover a desire. So when you have these situations, when you get how the birthing cycle or the birthing connects to your argumentation, you get what you need to change, where your partner needs to change, where your partner needs to happen for that to be, and then you can tend to whether it's the argument or the disagreement, because they can understand each other. When people touch the cycle of birth and death and so on, they touch the core of life there. That's why I guess people associated with Scorpio and Pluto, it's those two touch that, but the 8th house is not just your debt or your debt is also birthing. I can tell when the sun just ingressed into Libra and I had a whole day of tending to that. Okay, so so I can't deny Libra is my 8th house. I can't deny that that's what it's at. Action. for the great jump. This is the timestamp, okay? The timestamp on that birthing is a signification of something that I guess unfortunately children are in such a terrible position in the world right now because um, they bring in what we put out. They bring in that stuff big. Like they bring in what we put out and shove away. That's the process, you know. And they're only children. Yet there's an entire world that needs to grow so that a child can grow. You know, the Africans say it takes a village to raise a child. The more I see it with welfare kidnapping children, not only of refugees, and on the other hand, some children asking for help, going back to people who hurt them, basically. Um, it takes an entire world to change, to raise a child. It's not even it takes a village to raise it, it takes an entire world because those children, and if you think that it's not affecting, of course it's affecting, of course it is affecting your health condition is connected with what's going on in the world. It is connected. It's, I can't help everything in the world. It's like, yeah, but the things we can tend to. And eventually, for birthing, we tend to a whole lot of people who that yes, your eighth house or your eighth householder is anyway, or the ruler's ruler is really associated with how the planet, then the person birth. This is um, this is what I have to say, and I think really needs to really calm and understand the person who clears up the eighth house, what is scheduled to do so, and so it's very good to understand that it can also be, yeah, no, the reading is stuff in my head. It can be that, but in any case, it can be that both of you need to understand how some of your behavior and your structure and your thinking is, um, you know, facilitating birth, and what do you need to do to change that so it will facilitate birth. And both of you came to change that. Okay, everything happens, like everything that needs to be so that you will change that and you will be a part of life will happen to assist you. And this is the other side of the, you know, like the difficulties with the eighth house. Like things are going to come like this in your life because you facilitate that literally that opening of the birthing canal is just so. And so, um, will you stay with the person or not stay with the person, or whatever happens with that, it is birthing a new you for sometimes, but sometimes birthing babies birthing. And that's and that's why do these things happen? Why are they so important? Why can't you let go from each other in energy? Because eighth house is also where we share not only assets and generational wealth or the lack of, but also sharing energy. What is this energy doing here? Oh, we're facilitating each other's birthing process. We're birthing together. And that's